YouTubers, this is Jacques from the Moving Icon, and for the past 2 years, I have been using this right here, the Panasonic FZ1000. Today, Panasonic launched the GH5, the G80, the LX15, and the FZ2000. Today, I'm here to talk about the specs on the FZ2000, how it excites me, and how I'm sort of Stay tuned. So this is a direct quote. This is from a representative of Panasonic. I checked a couple of YouTube videos, and the representative from Panasonic actually said that the FZ2000, the real big advances are for filmmakers, and you're gonna see there's a lot of stuff in this camera that make it really cool. They have actually said it's like having a fixed GH4. It's like having a GH4 with a fixed lens on it. So this is a quote from Panasonic. So it is really cool, and some of the features are a lot of fun. Let me go through them really quick if I can, okay? Okay, now you have new choices of variable frame rates. You can have different frame rates, and you can have them on the fly via the function buttons. I'm going to talk about the function buttons in a second, but that is really cool. You can actually do frame rate racking on your shots. So you can actually go from 15 frames per second up to 60 frames per second while you're filming and save that to the file and have that already interpreted. So that is really cool. Oh yes, oh my God, the video card slot. Guess what they did? They took the memory card slot and it's not on the bottom anymore. And if you check some of my videos out, which I can point right here, if you check some of my videos on this, it is something that has always bothered me, is that if you want to change out the video card, you have to go underneath the camera in the battery slot. Now they've stuck it on the side. That is a super cool addition, and I'm super happy about that. Customizability. This thing is a beast. The F2000 has 6 customizable buttons and 21 pages within the camera of customizable functions for those buttons. So there's a whole shitload of buttons all over the thing that you can customize for your workflow and how you work. I've always liked customizability. I've always liked the fact that you can go to a button and change it and make it a different button depending on the way you work. So I was really happy to see that. Now, here's another thing that's really cool is Cinema UHD 4K. That's real full 4K. Now, I'm going to post all the frame rates and the different resolutions that you have on this camera. The customizable functions on the side of the camera, there's a function 1, function 2, and function 3 on the side of the lens. So they took into account the workflow of any videographer, because that's where we go, is on that side of the lens to get the shots we need to do. And a lot of times your assistant, if you have a video assistant working with you, he can actually push buttons while you're filming and looking through the visor because it's on the side of the camera. So I thought that was a great addition to the camera as well. You can also now output 422 10-bit to the HDMI port, clean 4K video. Now that is amazing, amazing. So I was really happy to see that as well. We also gain a headphone jack, the FZ1000 right here. We always had the earphone jack. Let me see if I can get that focused in on. There we go. We always had the earphone jack, but we didn't have the headphone jack. The FZ2000 does have a headphone jack as well. Now, via a software upgrade of about $99, you can also get Vlog on the camera. So that's another cool thing. You realize you're just buying a bridge camera, but I don't know. I think suggested retail on this is probably going to be between $1,000 and $1,300. So it's kind of cool that you're going to get that Vlog system as well. Other things they mention is the dolly zoom effect that you're going to be able to get. The lens has changed a tiny bit. Your range is different. You're working with 16 elements in 11 groups. It's a 20 times optical zoom, which is about for a zoom range of 24 to 480, whereas this camera right here had 25, There we go. I think we can see that. 25 to 400. So you're gaining a bit on the wide end, 1 millimeter, and you're gaining 80 millimeter equivalent on the zoom end. So that's kind of cool too. The disappointment, again, it's always been a bit of a drag about this lens, is that it's 2.8 to 4.5 the f. So as you zoom in, the f sort of closes down. At the same time, it must be understood, I mean, it's just such a super zoom. It's a huge zoom range, and the optical quality on this lens for a zoom lens is very good. So I think it's kind of tough to start asking them to make it a constant 2.8 with such a huge zoom range. So I think I was disappointed at the fact that it didn't go to it didn't stay at 2.8 the whole way through, but at the same time, it's pretty darn good anyway. Here's a great thing, unlimited 4K recording. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is what I heard from the press release. They said unlimited 4K recording. I think what they said when they stated that is there's a question of overheating that might not be there. And I'm hoping, I'm not sure, if we can record over 29 minutes and 59 seconds. I believe so, because Panasonic has been touting this as the fixed GH4. Most likely it's the case. I believe we have the 30-minute limit that's taken off. You guys don't realize to what extent this makes this camera valuable. These cameras, the quality is great, but once you get that 30-minute limit, there's a lot of video captures you cannot do with the camera. I like to do, when I do my shows and I film shows, I like to have one camera that's just a set and forget. I like to work on a 1080p timeline and always have a camera that's shooting wide at 4K so that I can place a zoom into my video editing later on. So I will be able to do this with the new camera. Everything points to me buying this camera, everything. Now, another thing which is also cool is zoom pull is a lot smoother. It is a lot smoother, and not only that, when the aperture closes down, apparently it is going to close down a lot smoother as well. On the original Panasonic FZ1000, there were no onboard ND filters. Now, when I did buy, at the time I bought this camera, I didn't feel that ND filters were useful in the first place. I never found myself using them. However, later on, I bought an AX100 by Sony, which is basically the camcorder version of the RX10, and it has inbuilt ND filters, and I loved it. And I started using it more and more, especially when I'm film sunsets or I film directly into the sun, something that I just wouldn't do before. And now with ND filters, I do it. So the fact that this camera has ND filters is great. Panasonic did not go halfway on the ND filters either. They offer you ND filters with a setting of 1/64, 1/16, 1/4, and auto. So that is very cool. So I thought that was great and a good addition, and it just adds on to the video-centric type of things that are cool about this camera. So really quick, let me go through a couple of points that bothered me. As I said, it's the constant aperture thing, kind of, it's okay. I'm disappointed a bit, but how that works. Also, there's the HDMI out is still micro HDMI. Anyone who's worked with HDMI out and you use the micro jack, it is a bit of a drag because it wiggles off very easily. You're gonna have to buy some third-party stuff to keep that jack in. But besides that, this thing builds to me on the greatness of the FZ1000. It builds on the greatness of this camera. It is, in my humble opinion, just a huge upgrade for anyone who wants to do video, who wants to do home videos and wants high quality when they show it back to their family or whatever. Anyone who needs a B camera, you have a B camera plus. You have a lot of stuff on this camera. So I think this camera is a really nice step up from the old one. Will I be buying one? I'm pretty sure I will be, because all the little limitations that I had, and I will leave a link to the actual playlist of all my videos, because I have done a lot of videos. on the Panasonic FZ1000. All those little lackings we had in the old camera have been taken care of video-wise for this camera, and they've added a lot of stuff. I mean, we're getting cinema 4K resolution, vlog if you want it, a lot of great stuff. This camera is not only going to be a B cam, but I think we're going to start seeing people talking about this camera as their go-to camera to actually do a whole mini features and little movies and stuff like that. I think this might take the whole Panasonic FZ range up a notch and get people going, wow, this is an amazing camera for the price. As for suggested retail price, I'm not quite sure yet what it is. I mean, it's freshly announced. As soon as I know, via annotations, I'll post it right here or something like that. So there you go. That's my opinions and my impressions on the specs of this camera. I do not have it in my hands. I know. So all the people who tell me, listen, you're doing a review without the camera in your hands. First of all, I never do reviews. Secondly, I don't have it in my hands, but I'm just looking at the specs and giving you my impressions. So thank you very much for watching. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for my high quality stuff. Check out Behance. If you like this video, click the thumbs up at the bottom. If you want to keep in cahoots with what I do, subscribe, and don't forget, everybody, keep on making something from nothing.